Gable and the Creeds are doing a walk and talk in the back. They have a message for the Wyatts. This is his new family, and we're sending you back to the freak show of a swamp you came from, and they are American made. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I was waiting for like a remix of American Males here.
Oh, they were so close. Changed one letter. We could have brought back that Jimmy Hart classic.
Oh, dude,
American Males.
The clap above their heads.
They could bring back the other Jimmy Hart classic. They could bring back American Made as well.
Oh, yeah. Matching singlets here and looking very stoic here.
Look at this little goatee on Brutus there.
Brutus is
I love it.
Fashionista. Yeah. Brutus Creed. All right, main event, Chad Gable and the Creeds against... We've got Joe Gacy as Huskus, Dexter Loomis as Mercy the Buzzard, and I guess that leaves Eric Rowan as the Rabbit. Is that who he is?
Eric Rowan is the Rabbit. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bo Dallas just has a ringside seat in the chair. We have all the smoke surrounding the ring as the Wyatts charge, and Creed.
So I think we should talk about this like before even the match. You know, what I'm very curious to see like how they would decorate, I guess, for these matches, because of course it's been one of the most controversial elements of all of Bray Wyatt's in-ring gimmicks is the lighting, the Mountain Dew lighting.
None of that stuff. Like, we had smoke, but no mirrors.
Yeah, exactly. They kept it very straightforward. You could see everything. It was typical lighting. The only sort of mystical element was dry ice, I believe, coming from the rocking chair of Bo Dallas.
Which did get a "This Is Awesome" chant before they even locked up. This Baltimore crowd was just amazed by this.
Well, they love the entrance. I guess they were chanting "This is awesome" and just the moment of the match. But you think they were cheering for the dry ice?
I think it was the dry ice.
Maybe, sure. Maybe they don't have that in Baltimore. They don't have dry ice.
Do you know the last time Dexter Loomis had a match?
2023, when Odyssey Jones was drafted.
May of 2023 was the last time this guy wrestled.
Okay. Well, enough time to grow that hair long.
That was it. So the Wyatts are in control early. I was very interested to see how this match was going to flow, and it was a lot of the Wyatts on offense for the beginning, and the Creeds just bumping around for them. And they go to break, they come back, and each one of American Made take turns with moonsaults on Gacy as they have the heat. And then Gacy does his handspring into a double lariat, tags Rowan, and Rowan comes in, and man, this guy gets cheered, and he cleans house. And then after a baseball slide drop kick, he does a tribute to Brody Lee that it seemed everyone got here. And they were just so into Eric Rowan here. And I thought the guy looked really good for the brief time that he was in this. There's a twisting slam to Gable, and the Creeds make the save. The crowd was so upset that they broke up the cover. And Dexter Loomis, who seems to... It's like this guy is playing a... 260-pound version of Darby Allin. He like climbs to the top and he hits this crazy seated splash to the floor. It looked like, hey guys, catch me if you can. If not, I'll just bump my ass on the floor as he comes down. Like, everything he does looks really uncontrolled. And I say that in a good way because I don't think the character should be doing pristine, smooth looking moves. This guy should look like he's got like a sciatica while he is leaping off the top, and that's kind of what this looked like. As
so that's a cool name for a move, sciatica.
the sky high Attica. Gacy and Loomis hit Uranagis to the Creeds on the desk. Gable turns into an eliminator. Shout out to the Great O'Con from Rowan. And then Gacy powerbombs Loomis on top of Gable, and Loomis hits the sciatica splash off the top, pinning Gable. Interesting, Gable, the one to take the fall in 11 minutes and 3 seconds. And the post-match just sees the five of them enter the middle, do their pose with Bo yelling, "We're here," as the show goes off. I would say, based on the quick reaction I saw afterward and the audience here, I would say this got a pass. Not like as in just like this worked for the audience, that they passed this first test of doing an in-ring segment with the Wyatts.
Yeah. I thought it was a good debut match. I mean, and this was the biggest challenge of this entire group's success, in my opinion.
And they had three really great opponents for this as well.
Well, to me, the challenge was okay. Like we know the production is going to be strong. They I think they found a great way of introducing the group. They found essentially they're doing the same Bray Wyatt entrance except like times 5. And they did a great job with that. They did a great job with the vignettes. Can this whole thing hold up in ring? And I think we are clearly seeing that this company has learned from their mistakes with Bray Wyatt's various gimmicks. They are choosing to go a very straightforward path here. These are not mythical or mystical creatures 24/7. They're disgruntled employees who are choosing to embody the costuming and the spirit of these characters because they find, I don't know, like strength, I guess, in wearing these sort of outfits. And it allows these guys to just essentially wrestle a straightforward match without these masks. They wrestled, I would say, a very like fan-friendly babyface style here, doing like interesting fan-friendly moves. Dexter Lumis being power bombed onto people worked really well. I think Eric Rowan coming in playing the powerhouse, doing like a big babyface clean house type of comeback was very effective. Dexter Lumis, I would say, has always kind of wrestled this style, but I think with the gimmick this over and tonally fitting, like the stuff he does with the stalking and like the crawling on his hands, all of that works a lot better under the Wyatt 6. And I would also say the same with Joe Gacy, who he's always done like that upside down in the corner thing. I always saw it as a bit of a Bray Wyatt ripoff, but now it works really well as a tribute. So, just having the gimmicks and having like the context of this has actually made what wrestlers they were actually better, in my opinion. And they got by with having these three do the majority of the wrestling, and the match got over, and it became a success by the end. And you have to credit the Creeds and Gable, who worked their asses off, not just in the lead up to this, but in the match itself, selling their asses off for the three of them. You probably couldn't have asked for a better group. They were excellent too. I don't see them just being written off from this entire feud. I see it continuing, and I see it with the Creeds and Gable. You know what? Maybe the Creeds and Gable move on to Tozawa and Otis at this point. But the job here was to make these three look amazing, and they did.
Do you see them like making it a special occasion when you do build to a match for the Wyatts? Like, do you imagine that these become like weekly occurrences of involving any of the five really in matches? I mean, it's something where I think you want to be able to bottle the enthusiasm of a Wyatt 6 kind of presentation as long as you can while it's novel to people, as opposed to just becoming another part of the show. And there's going to be like, I think overall, like they did this, I think everyone knew like the pitfalls of this group. And so far, I think people have been, optimistic with this presentation of them, that they have been avoiding a lot of the potholes of the past that they inevitably fell into.
Yeah, I think that would be wise, to keep these appearances at least like in ring pretty sparse and special. I think they first of all have to like wow people enough with their in-ring style to make it feel like a worthy attraction, and they did well. Now, is it the type of like match that I'd be like, wow, I can't wait to see the next Wyatt's match? Not necessarily yet. Like, I don't think they're that strong levels of performers. But still, it's the entrance that I think is still the main draw, and just to be able to say you saw the Wyatts wrestle, I think that's still a big draw.
I think this works for TV.
Yeah,
I thought this was a smart way to do it on TV, and let's see what this builds to on in a third hour too, which ultimately is the tougher hour to maintain audience. And you've also set aside Bo Dallas as well as the like building up a match to him down the road, which maybe that is something for a Chad Gable if they continue this or they go elsewhere. I have a hard time believing that they're just going to cut this off, but this was very definitive in terms of the loss, and the leader taking the fall too.
This was them like not being able to hide behind great editing or like really good production. This was just go down to the wrestling, and they delivered a strong match. Now, like Bo Dallas is going to have to do the same. Nikki Cross is going to have to deliver the same. Better matches that we've ever seen from them on the main roster, and the challenges will continue. But up until this point, they've done really well with this gimmick so far.